forums,
the streamers,
the blogs,
the gamer,
the tweets,
the streamers,
the role players,
the player,
the forums,
the bad,
the blogs,
the good,
the enthusiast,
the spotlight,
the spotlight.
the spotlight.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 13 of The Spotlight.
Yes, welcome to The Spotlight on BlizzPro TV. We, of course, cover everything community reaction-wise for World of Warcraft, Diablo III, StarCraft 2, of course, the StarCraft Arcade, Hearthstone, and now it looks like the tech alpha for Heroes of the Storm.
Dun dun dun.
It's so exciting. So let's get this show on the road. Of course, our first host is the original, the Mumble Queen herself, Sosa. Hey, Sosa, how's it going?
I'm good. I haven't been feeling well lately, but it's nice to see everyone's smiling faces. You guys always make me feel better. But did I hear Geeky right? This is our 13th episode?
Lucky 13. Yeah.
Okay, Okay, I'll be okay with them.
Yep.
Get the armor
Be
out.
careful.
Get the armor out.
You need the Saran, or not the Saran, the Reynolds foil.
Yep. There you
Yeah.
go.
We need buckets of tinfoil or something. We need to protect ourselves here, guys.
We do. And of course, you already heard mentioned that wonderful baritone. That is the leader of the Freethinkers Everywhere. Geeky, how's it going, sir?
It's going. How are you?
Doing well. Mother Nature is not kicking your butt this week.
No, not so much. Things warming up, and I was sick last week, and I kind of got over it over the weekend. So hopefully this week will be warmer and more healthy.
Yes, we can hope, right?
Yes.
And of course, as for me, I am Daryl. I am the wheelman for this clown car. Now, being that it's Lucky 13, we have some sad news. It seems to be ordained that this would be episode 13. Geeky is going to be leaving BlizzPro and thus leaving the Spotlight. With everything going on with his job, he needs to make some cuts, and we all know how that goes. So while, of course, we are unhappy to see him go, as well as his wonderful articles that he does give us, he's going to be focusing on his teaching career. So, getting them to think for themselves, how to avoid trolls, all the important things in life.
The basics.
So we're going to miss you, sir.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I can't believe it's the 13th episode. We've been doing this for, 3-4 months now?
Yeah.
So it's craziness. But yeah, sometimes that real life cue pops, and you just gotta accept. So
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Just gotta jump on it. But no, it's been a good run, and the show's doing great, and I'm sure it's gonna continue to do great. So all the best to you two.
And to you as well, sir. We, of course, will miss you. You will never be replaced. That is for sure.
I appreciate it.
So there is a lot of stuff going on for pretty much every game in the Blizzard arsenal. So it's not going to be WoW heavy this time, which I'm actually happy for.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with some fun stuff. Sosa, what do you got for us? What's the community been just oohing and awing over?
Well, what the community has been oohing and awing over are the previews for the Heroes of the Storm. They've been showing off all of the shiny new heroes, and people are getting super excited about their favorite heroes, wondering what kind of skins are going to be available, wondering what kind of maps are going to be available. And because Blizzard asked them, what are the characters you're interested in, there is a list upon list of what people are asking for in all of the different games. All right, I had to write this down. There's so many of these. I literally can't. It's insane. The Diablo announced characters so far are a barbarian, a demon hunter, Diablo Tyrael, and a witch doctor. People are asking for Deckard Cain with the ability to stay a while and listen. Everyone sit down and listen to him for a couple of minutes. The Necromancer, pretty much any character from Diablo 2, all of the prime evils, Mephisto and Baal. People are asking for Wirt. to come back.
Nice.
That'd be cool.
People are asking for the Cow King, or at the very least his level from Diablo 2 to come back and make an appearance.
Oh, that would
Heroes
be
of the
fun.
Storm. One that I kind of liked is people are asking for the Dark Wanderer from Diablo 2 to come in.
Yeah.
That would kind of be interesting. He was an interesting character, and that's just Diablo 2.
Well, and they do have, if they pre-order the Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls, you with the deluxe edition, you get the Demon Hunter Heroes character for free.
Oh, very nice. Very, very nice.
Sweet.
Though some people, one big thing people are asking about is that the characters like the Barbarian, the Demon Hunter, and the Witch Doctor, they want the ability. They're hoping there's going to be a second skin involved where you can get that and you'll be able to play both sexes.
Oh, that would be very cool.
Yeah.
So that's actually a big thing that a lot of people were asking about in the Diablo thread. But moving over to StarCraft, they've got Abathur, Kerrigan, Nova, Ragnar, Sergeant Hammer, Tassadar, and Zeratul as the characters they've announced.
Yep.
But people are asking for a lot of Hydralisks.
Yes.
That would be sweet.
I saw that it was every second thing people were asking for Hydralisks, and someone by the name of Tai Chu, the guy with the cigar.
Tychus?
In the promo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tychus was cool.
Yeah, apparently he's showing up in a lot of the promo material, but he's not on the list yet.
Right.
People are hoping he's going to make it, if not at launch, shortly after.
Sure.
But then we move to Warcraft. They've a lot more. Here's the big thing. A lot of people are like, oh, there's so many Warcraft characters over the other ones, which kind of makes sense. I mean, Warcraft's got a lot more characters to pull from. Arthas, ETC, Falstad, Wildhammer, Gazlo, Illidan, Malfurion, Muradin, Stitches, Tyrande, and Uther are all announced characters. But the characters people are asking for. Oh my goodness. I'm going to go through this super quick. These are just some of the ones I picked out. There's a lot more. Ragnaros, Grom Hellscreen, Leroy Jenkins, Salvanis, Khadgar Medivh, any of the old gods, Maeve, Broxigar, some kind of troll, and some orc characters, Jaina, Hogger, Alex Straza, Lord Merogar, pretty much any raid boss or dungeon boss. There is someone who is asking for them to be in Heroes of the Storm. The list goes on, and it's just insane. People are so excited, but they're really hoping for their own characters. Like, everyone's got that one character that they secretly like, and they want that character to show up in Heroes. And in World of Warcraft, there are so many people to pick from. It is insane, and people are they're getting more excited. Like, this is, the Heroes of the Storm is just getting so hyped. So hyped. And unfortunately, with that and the announcement of the technical alpha happening, the big warnings have to go out, people. The technical alpha has a fact out. Read it. It is very important. You will not receive a number key. You will not receive an alpha key. You will receive a license in your Battle.net account if you
get in.
Optioned in to the alpha. So if you see a site offering you alphas, alpha keys, if you see someone offering to sell alpha keys, if you see people just offering alpha keys in general, they are scams. They are phishers. Do not take the chance. You will only find out you get in via either an email from Blizzard, or you will find the license in your Battle.net account. That is the only way you will go in, is you will go in and you will see the license that you can activate right there.
Yeah, no, even the emails from Blizzard have no keys. They're just simply saying, hey, welcome.
That it's in your account. Yeah.
And it's a very limited run, too. So they did state that it's U.S. servers, so U.S. only right now. They're keeping it small. A very small number of people will actually be invited. They will have a handful of people from international press sites, a couple international streamers, who will be invited to it that will be given access, but it will all be on the U.S. servers as opposed to, European servers, etc. So yeah, it's very, very small because it's still an alpha.
It's an alpha. They're just testing out the basic stuff, and they need people to test it, and that's what they're inviting you in.
Right.
But people have to be very, very careful, and the only way to get in is to option in on your Battle.net account.
Right.
Even though they put this right on the fact that lighting candles and yelling Tech Alpha into a mirror 3 times will only amuse your family. It will not improve your chances. I'm sorry, guys. Put the goat's blood away. You don't need it this time. You just need to go to your Battle.net
why'd I
account.
buy all that blood?
Man, I gotta take the goat
Crap.
back.
Yeah,
What am I gonna do with it now? He's in my basement.
I threw the receipt away. Man, wasn't thinking.
In the summer, it'll be a great lawnmower.
That's
Kids
true.
will appreciate that.
That's true. That is very true.
Until
Probably
they
do a
have to
better
go
job
to
than
the
my son
office,
anyway.
Yeah.
But no, so lots of stuff to look forward to. And of course, I'm sure they will have more heroes available for unlocking, purchase, etc. We'll just have to see what they do. Give them a chance to actually start testing it before we start.
Yeah, I'm glad that they don't have a huge amount of them, because if they did what everyone wanted, if that was possible, then there'd be nothing left to build on. They need to have like packs.
Start with a smaller pool,
right,
to get it all tested out and make sure everything works.
Fine tune the balance of all the heroes, and then start adding them in. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, exactly. But no, huge hype over heroes. People are so excited. And I can't blame them. I'm excited too, and I'm not into this type of games, but I'm very excited over to hear how Blizzard's going to handle this and what the gameplay is shaping up to be. It looks very, very good.
Oh yes, it does. Now, of course, you can find all the information on the artwork for the heroes. Now, of course, they're not animated. All we have are stills. They look fantastic. At the Heroes of the Storm website for Blizzard. You can also go to blizzpro.com, and we do have those pictures in articles up under Heroes of the Storm tab, as well as information for the Tech Alpha. So everything you need to know can be found right there, as well, of course, through Blizzard. Thinking of Heroes of the Storm, obviously that's got everyone excited for Esports. And with spectator mode coming for Hearthstone and doing all this stuff, they have released some information on community tournament licenses. Now, if you're holding a tournament and the prize is $10,000 or less, or probably equivalent product, I would assume, you do not need a special license from Blizzard. They will still help you promote. They want to promote the esport thing. They actually have a whole team for it now. If the prize is over 10 grand, you'll need to work with Blizzard, apply for a license, a tournament license, and they will be more than happy to work with you and help with promoting it, pushing it, etc. They are really excited about the esport thing. And, we talked about this before. They weren't looking to make Hearthstone an esport. Like, that wasn't number one on their list. And players were so just enamored with it, and we're like, oh my gosh, we could totally have tournaments. So Blizzard, is trying to give the community what they asked for, and is trying to make it so that we can have fun tournaments, and whether they're just
making it easier.
Yeah,
it's fun
great.
tournaments.
And then of course we've got Heroes of the Storm and the tournament potential for that.
Sure.
Just amazing. Obviously we do have a copy of that information on blizzpro.com, written by our very own Steven Stewart, who I'd like to say congratulations to. He actually is now our site manager for Hearthstone. So yay to Mr. Stewart.
Yes.
Now that we're out of tactical alphas and we're going into talked a little about Hearthstone. Sosa, what has been going on with new cards?
Well, Blizzard has announced that starting soon, you will be able to earn a golden hero which means your hero card will be a golden color, have different animations and different colors to it. And this will be available if you gain 500 wins in ranked play only. Now, this has brought a little bit of people a little upset because, one, it's not retroactive.
Mm-hmm.
2, it's per hero.
Right.
So you would need 5,000 wins in ranked, 500 with each hero in order to have all 10 heroes with their shiny card. And it does not count for casual or arena play.
Right.
It is ranked play only. It is to encourage people to play in ranked, because some people will only play in casual and some people will only play in arenas. And it's to give the people who play in ranked a little something extra to strive for. Just a little extra something that, kind of like an achievement.
Right.
People are getting upset because, people who play casual can't get it. People who only play arena can't get it, blah, blah, blah. And some people are very upset because they've already been playing for quite some time. And so now it starts all from zero once it's implemented. So they still need to go through and do their 500 wins. And then there's some people who are they're already planning farming strategies for wins, and I'm like, do you guys not remember what a game is?
No.
I mean, but no, people are it's an interesting idea, but there's a lot of people who are either looking at it as, oh, that's kind of a neat thing, I'll learn that maybe one day, and then there's other people who are like, I must have this, why can I not get this faster, sooner, quicker, this my way? So
Geeky, what's your take on having the golden heroes be more limited? Do you think that it's nice to have a reward for not everybody?
Yeah, I think so. I would equate it to gear in Warcraft. I mean, you are not going to be a casual player that does LFR once a week and expect to get heroic Warforged gear to drop. I think it's the exact same thing, and I think that there should be some rewards in place for those that are willing to put in the time and the effort. It's not about skill. It's not a race. There's no achievement for first world gold card rogue deck. That's not what the point is. And I think it's fine. And I like how Sosa mentions that there's people scheming on speed runs, and that doesn't surprise me because people have been scheming speed runs since Mario 1 on the original Nintendo.
Yes.
So I'm not surprised anymore. It's just, it comes with the territory. Unless you're playing a story-based game where you have to do everything, you're not getting around stuff. So no, I think that's good. I was really excited to see it, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's a challenge, and I'm glad it starts over when the patch drops. I think they did a good balance of catering to the ranked players and leveling the playing field by wiping it out. It's not just like, oh, you have 10,000 wins, so you get it. So thumbs up. Thumbs up.
It's along with this announcement, of course, is we are nearing the end of beta. They did post that. And of course, if you want the special golden Geblin Mechatork card that you get as a free card just for testing out by buying a booster pack in the store, if you want the golden version, you have to purchase something from the store before beta ends.
Right. It's a fun card. It's fun.
Otherwise, the only way to get that card, the non-golden version, would be to craft it through Dust.
Or sacrifice a goat. The goat from before.
Maybe a goat, yes. We'll have to find something to do with the goat.
Exactly.
Those poor goats.
We already have the goat.
It's already there, Sosa. I mean,
we lost the receipt. Didn't you pay attention?
Yeah.
I know, but why do you guys have to do something with the poor goat? Like I said, just keep it warm in the garage, and then it'll be, once summer rolls around, they make wonderful, wonderful lawn trimmers.
That's true. But they eat a lot too. I've already lost 3 wicker chairs. He's costing me too much money. He's got to go.
It's rough.
Anyone want a goat? I'll hold a contest for the spotlight. I'm kidding.
And then Spotlight gets shut down by PETA.
Yes.
No, wait, Delta.
Delta.
DETA or Delta, whatever.
Whatever it's called.
Whatever those guys in Borean Tundra are.
Yes. Yeah, no, we can't have that. No, it's nice to see that they're offering some cool cosmetic stuff. I mean, we have the different card backs that can be, picked up through various means, which is really nice. Different animations for the backs of the cards. There was actually, believe it or not, well, you'll probably believe it because we look at the forums. There was a thread on the forums entitled that different card backs are a bad idea. And this person went on to say how if you're allowed to have different card backs, you can make it so that decks are effectively marked. And it makes confusion, and players won't know what card is what. And if somebody you play against enough, gets used to your deck, will know what card is coming up ahead of time by just looking at the back of your card. And so you have no advantage. And they went on this whole thing about how card games are supposed to have identical backs because it keeps people from knowing what you have. I'm serious, folks.
Yeah.
Go look on the forums. It's there.
Some fair points,
Apparently this person missed the fact that when you get different card backs, your entire deck gets scanned.
Right, yeah. I felt like I was missing something that whole time. Like,
no,
what?
no.
I think they were missing something.
Yeah, there was something missing.
It's one of those things that's so obvious that you kind of wonder how someone missed it.
And people actually responded with, wait, are you... No, the backs aren't all different.
I couldn't bear to look at the responses to that. That's just like that's like watching an embarrassing sitcom. You're just like,
and I don't think it was somebody trolling. I really think they were serious.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because it was just so well written, and it was like,
Oh goodness. Oh goodness.
So I'm not sure if this person will earn golden heroes, but I wish them luck.
Yeah.
At least, the forums can be fun on occasion.
He's gonna get in the alpha for heroes. It's not even. That's the consolation prize, really. I would give it to him. Just give it to him. Whatever. Who cares?
Oh man. Oh.
Whatever.
So, that's the heroes. The new hero look for Hearthstone coming up. Obviously, we have to wait till the patch before that all goes live, and your ranked play wins don't count until the patch drops.
Right.
Yeah.
So very important. So it doesn't matter how many wins you get right now. It's only after the patch drops.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many people are going to miss that, and they're just going to be playing ranked like crazy, trying to get the
There'll be
kills,
some. There's always a group.
And then when it drops, they're like, "Why is it saying I'm starting at 0?"
There's always one. At least.
There's always, at least, yeah, that's the big one. At least, there's usually one.
Yes,
and that's still a thread.
That's right. But more exciting stuff going on with Blizzard giving us stuff.
Yes.
Right now with Diablo, before the expansion Reaper of Souls goes live, which goes live on the 25th through the 24th, when you play, you get a 50% XP bonus. Now,
huge.
This is not a flat XP bonus. This is 50% on top of any other XP bonuses you have.
Right.
Now, in the article, they tried to explain some of the math. And they basically showed you how you could, if you had everything lined up just right, get 1,000% XP bonus.
Oh, wow.
Now, of course, you can go to battle.net and go look at the Reaper Souls, and they have the article there. We also have an article about it on blizzpro.com.
Mm-hmm.
It is fantastic. It's a great way for people to start playing with the new systems that they've already dropped before the expansion. Get your characters leveled up, start doing things, all in preparation for this huge, this really cool expansion. And you get 50% XP bonus. So if you've never played and you want to level up quick to catch up with some of your friends, great time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, with this, they also released the artwork for the Blood Marsh area in Reaper of Souls.
It was really cool.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's the atmosphere and the design that went into every nuance of the level to really pull you into the mood and the atmosphere, the story. Really impressed. I mean, and Diablo's always done a pretty good job of giving you that atmosphere.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed by their music.
that's
Diablo,
the other
Diablo 2, the music was there, but Diablo 3, the music is insane, and I was listening
it's really
to
good.
a little bit of the Blood Marsh music, because I was going through the comments, and people were raving about the music, so I'm like, I have to listen to a little bit of this. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
It suits the pictures so well, and it's such an amazing piece of work. I mean, I'm tempted to get the Diablo 3 soundtrack now.
Yeah, I agree.
And especially the Reaper of Souls now for that music. I love Blizzard's music, and the Blood Marsh is just, it's one of those times where the music is so perfect. It completely suits everything.
Mm-hmm.
So like they seem to have gone all out and done a fantastic job with this place.
Yeah, they actually interviewed the composer and asked questions like, how did you come up with the music? What did you do to get, into the right frame of mind? And it was really very nice. And of course, there's, some music for you to listen to and get a glimpse of what is there. And yeah, I'm really excited with that. And I like WoW soundtracks. And I might just have to get this soundtrack too. So that is some really cool stuff. Now we're going to switch back over to WoW. And we're leaving it for last because not only does it contain the most crying, but it also, has a lot more community reaction because in some ways the WoW community is a little more vocal, at least as far as
just
throwing
a
things
smidge.
out on Twitter.
Just a smidge.
Diablo community is huge on forums, but WoW community is even bigger on social media. So,
That's true.
Geeky, why don't you start us off with the first dev water cooler?
Okay, so this water cooler is entitled "Pruning the Garden of War," and the article that's on the World of Warcraft site kind of goes over a couple different things: stat squish, racial traits, which we'll get to in a second, ability pruning, crowd control / diminishing returns. It's a huge article that just lines up all those things I just listed and kind of breaks down changes. But instead of talking about all those things that would probably keep us here until midnight, the one thing that people responded to the most would be the racial changes. And this was, I think Bashiok is the one that released the information here. And they went through and kind of talked about all the changes that are coming to racials in Warlords. There's some really good ones. And people seem to respond differently. I saw different reactions on both sides of the issue. I think on the Blizz Pro article, I think there was a comment that said something about like Blood Elf is the best hunter now, and that like and that like made him really mad because because troll is like the or orc for on the horde side. It's like, oh, it's like the best, which I thought was really interesting because I'm pretty sure like in Burning Crusade I had a Blood Elf hunter at 70. I was one of those like Legolas fanboys, like, yeah, I'm gonna have an elf, So I thought that was really interesting.
Very geeky. We're so happy you're proud of that.
I'm very proud.
I did, and I have a miniature poodle named Legolas, so but I'm a girl, I'm excused.
Yeah. So
no offense, Geeky.
Oh yeah, whatever. I like Legolas. I'm all for it. So there was some.
All the way.
Yeah. So they've kind of redesigned a few. You can go over to blizzpro.com and look. There's an article that came out a few days ago that outlines the changes. But a few that are really neat that I personally liked was like the Draenei changes. Gift of the Naru now heals for the same amount over 5 seconds. Over 5 seconds instead of 15, which is what it is now currently. And that's a big one. I mean, Gift of the Naru, I remember when that came out and people were like, whoa, what is this? And it's kind of a big deal. So
saved me so many times.
Yeah. So I like that. I think Gnome, let's see, what's the Gnome one here? There's a new racial passive ability that increases haste by 1%. It's called Nimble Fingers. Interesting title, Nimble Fingers. So those are the two that really stuck out to me the most. Were there any that you guys liked or that you saw a reaction specifically?
Well, I mean, one of the things that obviously they did, they took out any of the weapon specialties. specializations. But like with the humans, one of the reasons to play a human, obviously was the reputation bonus.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which back in the day was definitely huge.
Oh yeah.
What they, besides taking out the specializations, which was 1% to your expertise with either maces or swords, is the human spirit ability was redesigned. So instead of increasing your spirit by 3%, it's now going to increase 2 of your secondary stats by some amount that scales with your character level, and you get to choose which 2 stats it increases.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, this is one of the changes that has not been implemented on the PTR. A lot of these others have already gone, live into testing at this point. That particular one has not been implemented, and so we're waiting to see when they'll actually do that. But that one really struck me because, way back in the day, I did create a human, and I did it because, hey, reputation bonus was awesome.
Yeah, it's true. I remember. I think most of my alliance tunes still are human for that reason. But when I was concerned about reputation, that 10% was like the life or death, make it or break it.
Well, when you had to do the cloth turn-ins, oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely that sucked. Or if you're doing rep like Consortium or any of the BC ones where it was just a matter of time,
Timbermaw. Oh my God.
Timbermaw's bad, Sun Fury, or not Sun Fury, but Scryer's Aldor, any of that.
Scryers,
that's just, ugh. So that 10%, that's, in my mind, I'm like, man, that's, if I take an hour, 10% of an hour, that's like 6 minutes. Like, that's, I could be doing whatever with 6 minutes. So, yeah, that racial is always crucial. So.
What about you, Sos? Did any one of these stick out for you?
I didn't really notice any that stuck out. I thought it was interesting that they're changing a bunch of them, yes. I think what my big interest in is how people are reacting to this. And you can almost smell the min-maxers.
Oh, yeah.
From the way their comments are starting about it. Like, the way people are freaking out, well, I'm going to lose X amount of this and blah, blah, blah. My character's going to be less effective, blah, blah, blah. You can smell the min-maxers.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be a lot of petitions for a race change.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I always picked my character based on what I thought I wanted to be at the time. Like, I mean, the only reason my Alliance Mage was a human was because I didn't like humans in armor, so I figured I'd just put her in a robe and she'd be okay.
There you go.
So, I always picked it based on looks. I was never one of the people who really cared too much about racials.
Same here.
But you can smell the people who are the min-maxers, who are those super efficient, has to be perfect everything.
Yep.
And they're the people who almost every expansion will race change their main because of a racial change. So it's just the same stuff all over again, except they're going through and instead of changing like the occasional thing, or maybe the new race is slightly better at this class than the old one, they're just doing a lot of sweeping racial changes, which is interesting. Like, I don't recall them ever doing such a huge change system before with the racials. I know they've tweaked them here and there, and 1 or 2 classes have had their racials changed entirely, but it's very interesting to see them doing just the wide sweeping clear.
Well,
it's a really big sign of it's a really big sign of how much change they're trying to bring to warlords. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes.
Well, of course, important to note, the Pandaren and the Worgen racials, there are no plans to change those. So apparently those 2 races are sitting right about where they want everybody to be as far as racial bonuses. So they just work to bring all the other races up to that level.
Well, think how good Pandarens were. I mean, when that was announced, it's like, yeah, you have like the food buff and all the rested and
the safe fall.
All like safe fall, like, and I remember hearing all that and I was like, wow, like why wouldn't you want to be a Pandaren? Besides the fact that your character's fat, if you choose to play a male Pandaren. But I mean, I remember just thinking that it was really overpowered, and a lot of the the raiding community was like, oh, that food buff is so good that it's kind of a game changer. I'm going to change my hunter from whatever to Pandaren. So yeah, I mean, I think it's good. I guess I've never really looked at the Warg. I've never really played a Worgen. So
Worgen gives you the crit, and you get to skin faster.
And your
you
own
pick
mount,
herbs
right?
faster too.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, your own mount. Do you get to? Is it pick herbs faster too, or is it just skinning?
Yeah, something like that.
No, it's just skinning.
Yeah. So if you're a Worgen hunter,
Torin had the fast herb, I think.
That's right.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, if you're a Worgen hunter, like that was the combo, because you got the crit,
right,
and leatherworking because you're killing all those animals. So
Right.
Yeah, and you skin it super quick. Just
yep.
used to be, and originally before they took out the you no longer need skinning knives, Worgens were originally back in the beta supposed to be able to skin without needing a skinning knife.
Right, because they came.
They had claws. Yeah,
right.
I remember that, but they ended up taking that out. It was kind of sad.
But yeah, and their own mount, so you don't actually have to go through the whole thing of buying mounts.
Right.
Even though they did give you 2 mounts for the Worgen.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually they added the horses in. That was just to even the imbalance, as they said. Because with the goblins, it brought the amount number to the same for both factions, but that was the only reason they did that. But no, I remember that. But I almost swear there was something else that I'm forgetting.
There probably is.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Yeah. I liked Worgen. I really did.
I hated the starting zones. It took forever, but
probably what turned me off of the race.
You want to talk about atmospheric? It's incredible.
Beautiful, but it took too long. I think that was really the big thing, is it just took too long. But yeah, so definitely some cool stuff there. So now we're gonna switch gears a little bit, and we're gonna get to some real crying. Our second dev water cooler that was actually the most just released a couple days ago. So that one, building healthy gameplay but not healthy comments. That's what it should be called.
No
Says,
kidding.
what do we have going on with healers?
Well, what they're talking about is very similar to what they were talking about a little while ago about how casting, they wanted to lower the amount of instant casts, and they wanted people to think more carefully about your casts and have to stop to cast on, to stop more often instead of casting so much on the move. Well, they're doing the same thing with healers. A lot of your traditional healer instant casts are now being given a 1.5 second cast time. What they want healers to do is more of a triage. They don't want healers to just sit there and make sure everyone is overhealed all the time. They want the healers to sit there, to watch carefully, and to heal as people need it.
Yep.
Right.
So this is bringing up a lot of people who are worried, because in Mist there were so many fights that were balanced around moving.
Yep.
So those spells were necessary at the time, but in Warlords, I'm assuming there's going to be far less movement, or it's going to be more critical movement.
Yeah.
You're not just moving all the time, or you're not just moving like here and there.
Right.
You're going to be moving at specific times to avoid specific things, and that's it. So a lot of healers are particularly worried about this, because they're all saying that too many people are focusing on this is going to lower my HPS overall, instead of just looking at I kept everyone up.
Yep.
A lot of people are worried that in LFR people are going to be booted because they're not managing to keep everyone 100% topped up all the time. There's a lot of people who are worried about a lot of things, but what we haven't heard is, well, there's a lot of things that are going on. They're removing certain low heal, slower cast spells.
Right.
Like, I've only really played a shaman, so I've never been good at healing.
Okay.
So I've always avoided that class, because I'll take the beating in the face as a tank, but I will not take people's lives in my hands to throw spells and keep them alive.
Right.
I am a holy priest, so yeah.
Yeah, so I've played a shaman, and once I've played her resto in LFR, and never again. But spells like, for shaman, healing wave. That is what they call a low throughput slow heal, because it is. It's a low heal, but it's a 2-second cast timer. So what they're doing is they're removing certain spells like that. So you're pretty much going to be left with your slow big heals and your fast light heals.
Yeah, your fast light, slightly expensive heals. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're making the healers think a little bit more and practice triage. So it's going to be more focusing on stuff like this. So a lot of the healers are worried that, oh, everyone's going to die, it's all going to be my fault, and all of this stuff. So there's a lot of healers that are particularly worried. Priests specifically seem to be panicking the hardest.
Yes, they are.
From what I understand. But what I'm just curious about is, why aren't they looking at the people who are dying?
Well,
like, as a DPS, I know my defensive cooldowns like the back of my hand, and I know exactly when to be throwing those out. I actually almost never require healing, for the most part, unless everything goes south completely.
Right.
And, you know, then everyone's dying. That's the only time I tend to need heals, or unless I screw up. So, I think what this is going to do is it's also going to force the DPS to be a little more careful themselves.
Well,
but the healers are worried they're going to take all the blame.
Well, like, because I have a holy priest, okay? And the specific changes, you know, so you've got Cascade or Halo, which are the two options. Well, there's Cascade, Divine Star, and Halo, which were insta-cast, like, pretty much group heals. And they work in different ways of how they animate and go out and what they do. Like, Cascade is literally like a pool. It spreads out and damages the NP, you know, the monsters, and it heals your party.
Mm-hmm.
Halo is a bouncing water fountain of golden light from player to player to player, and it just keeps splitting and going. So you have this pretty fountain effect. And Divine Star, I forget what that looks like, but it's basically, I mean, they're big heals, right? They're group heals. It's something you throw out when, you know, you're popping cooldowns. You know, when you're all, you know, collapsing on each other, and the displacer throwing out bubbles, and that, you know, that's when you try to use those spells. So they went from being instant cast to 1.5 seconds. Prayer of Mending, which is a little shield, and it would bounce 3 times. If you took the glyph, it's like bounce 5 times. It's again a 1.5 second cast time as opposed to instant cast. Now, Prayer of Mending was one of those spells that you hit as soon as it would come up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those, just boom, you hit it, and you just throw it out. Same with Circle of Healing. And those were that you constantly kept those going. As soon as the cooldown reset, boom, you were hitting them. And then, of course, you were supplementing with regular heals. But now that they're taking out the instant part, you know, they are going to have to be smarter about it. And a lot of people have been saying that it's going to be like the beginning of Kata, when we couldn't keep even regular dungeon groups up, or we're running ourselves out of mana even on trash pulls. Now, from what Blizzard has said, they're trying to make it so that we don't have a mana deficiency. It's about trying to get us to be smarter. And I think this goes along with what we talked about previously with the Proving Grounds. You know how to play your class. And Geeky, you know, you said it before when we talked last time. You know, we were talking about Diablo with the level changes and the customization ability for the characters. When change happens, people get scared. People don't like changes because they get used to one system. And then Blizzard changes something, and they have to learn how to do it all over again. And that's what this is doing. This is telling healers, all right, you have to change how you do it. I mean, you know, there's no more running in circles aimlessly, whether you have to or not, and just hitting your instant cast spells. You know, you actually have to pay attention to where you're standing. You definitely have to really pay attention to line of sight and distance and everything else, because we don't have those instant casts to fall back on.
Right.
You know, and all the healers have been hit with this, but the priest community seems to be, I think, the most vocal right now, at least from what I've seen, as far as saying that this is going to make us useless. And I've actually seen some say that raid groups aren't going to want priests in their group anymore, because they feel that priests have been hit the hardest out of all the healers, and that nobody's going to want priests in their group because healers will be worthless. I think people are jumping the gun.
Definitely.
Every expansion,
it sounds like
major patches, they make changes. we have to learn how to redo things. DPS has to relearn how to do stuff, or tanks do, healers do. It's the same. And everyone's been asking for harder content. People said that Mist was too easy, that they wanted to go back to the old days. Were we just talking about that? That people were waxing nostalgic about it, and now they're getting it, and now they're crying.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it actually, from now that hearing you describe it as a healer perspective, it sounds a lot to me like the big changes to the active damage mitigation system that the tanks had to relearn at the beginning of Mists.
Yeah.
Where we weren't just damage sponges, right? Where we were popping our cooldowns every time they were up. Now we have to actually watch for that big spike and pop it.
Right.
We have to actually dodge stuff and stuff like that. We have to actively be a lot more careful. It sounds a lot like that.
Well, priest
from the way you're describing it. So
honestly, being a priest healer, you get kind of lazy. I mean, you do. Unless you're doing flex or higher, you're pretty lazy. I can actually watch a movie while I'm in LFR.
Oh wow!
Well, that's just LFR though.
But I mean, unless somebody is really being stupid, which does happen, of course, it's LFR. Especially on a Monday night, as everybody the last minute dregs are trying to get everything done before maintenance.
Right.
Unless somebody's really being stupid, I could literally have an eye on the TV.
Oh, wow.
Because it's that easy. But I've also got gear. I mean, I'm not, bare level of getting into LFR. I'm a little higher than that. I mean, all of that does play a factor. But people are so used to a lot of the fights, especially going to a 5-man. Oh my gosh, it's a cakewalk.
Oh, yeah.
I'm half the time in a 5-man, I'm not even hitting buttons because the tanks already know what they need to do and what to avoid. Everybody knows where to not step. And so I feel useless as a healer sometimes in 5-mans. I'm all I'm just hitting buttons because I'm bored. I don't need to hit
barely have to. If you've got a good team, you barely even have to tank it. I've gone into a 5-man as a tank, and I'm busy. Okay, I grabbed the boss. Boss is already half dead by the time I throw my taunt out.
But I think but that's the thing is players have gotten complacent again. Particularly
gamers.
Well, yeah.
It's going to happen every expansion.
So Blizzard is adjusting things because people have said it's too easy.
Of course.
I know you've heard a lot about that with people saying that the panda zones, the land of pandas is too easy.
But it was cool though.
Yeah.
I loved it. I should retract that statement. I loved it enough to do it once, but it is not like Elwyn Forest or the Blood Elf start zone. Like those are ones that, because they're quick and you have a system. You do it so many times, so many failed alt leveling attempts that it's just all right. Yep, I know I got to kill Cobalt here. I got to, all this stuff. But with the panda, I mean, it was good to see the story, and I liked the lore there that in the turtle and all. That's cool, but it's an endeavor. It's I thought it was a long process, but I did it only once, and it's not something.
The monks did add a whole new element.
Well,
you're
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You're right. It did. It totally changed.
Right. So I mean, I don't know. It was good, and it was good to see something new. I mean, but I mean, it's not. I don't think I would level 10 Pandarans. I mean, not right now. In a month from now, that could change. But for right now, I don't see myself leveling another panda.
No, I definitely know that it did change. I think the way people look at WoW because of the way they designed everything, not just the panda starting zone, but all of Pandaria and the way that they set up encounters and the way the daily hubs were.
Right.
Everything, even the 5-mans and of course the raids. Yeah, I mean the raid just wow.
Yeah.
I mean it's really well designed, but people really, have gotten complacent, I think, with this. And that's the sad part,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And people get used to the changes, just like we got used to how to heal without mana and kata.
Yeah.
We'll learn to heal without moving. We did it before. We'll do it again.
Right.
and I think people should just calm down.
There's only so many ways you can change up healing in raiding. It's either you change the way healers heal, or you change the damage that's coming from bosses. It's one or the other. That's how it's always been. That's how every expansion is changed, and there's no getting around it. And if you don't change it, then what happens is what we talked about. People become complacent, become apathetic and lazy, and then it's boring. You have to change it up. And that should, like, you would think by now, unless a lot of these people that are griping are people that are newer compared to some of the veteran WoW players. But like, I've just assumed that whatever class I'm playing, going into another expansion, something is going to change. Case in point, Shadow Priests from Cataclysm to Mist of Pandaria are completely different. Like, how dots work, how I was like, where's my dot? My bars are all messed up now. Like, because I knew that things were going to happen. You know, like, I just had to get used to the mindset, oh, yeah, it's a new expansion. It's obviously not going to play it the same. So,
I mean, if you play a priest or you know somebody who does that's panicking about it, and you really want a good breakdown of, like, really the ins and outs of playing a priest, check out Derevka. He's on Twitter. He's got, blogs. He's got all kinds of stuff. He is probably the best expert on priests that is very active and very out there right now. Not to say that there aren't others who produce good blogs and good commentary on how to do priest heals in particular. But Derevka is not afraid to say when something is bad, but he'll tell you why. It's not just griping.
He's a good guy.
It's not just whining. It's actual numbers. It's actual, no, this is what this really means. And it really gives you a chance to get past just the tinfoil hatting. So check out Derevka and good stuff, and it will give you a real breakdown of what all these changes mean as far as the priests go, because that's the biggest complaint right now is the priests. I mean, all healers are complaining, but the priest community is really up in arms right now. So so that is the interesting dev water cooler stuff. I will be interested to see what more they decide to release. As far as adjustments and things. And I hope they, while it's a little difficult to follow for writing an article, releasing some extra information like they did with the racials through Twitter was really cool and kind of interactive, because it allowed people to talk to Bashiok. It allowed them to talk to the CM and respond and get information at the same time. It was a lot of tweets to go through to get the actual details, but it was definitely worth it because it was fun. So I think it's cool that they're engaging the community in that respect. Now, even though we have all this stuff coming up, and if you want to check out some of these changes, obviously you can go to the PTR and check some of that stuff out for yourself and help test it. But there is definitely a lot of stuff to do if you want to while away the time. So, Geeky, why don't you start us off with our halftime engagements?
Yes, the first of the halftime engagements this week is a deck of the week for Hearthstone, and this week's deck of the week centers around a standard aggro hunter deck. You can go to the hearthstone.blizzpro.com site and take a look at this really good aggro deck, aggro hunter deck that Alchemixed from DKMR came up with. It's a really good list of hunter cards, their brief summary of what they do, and then how to play the deck, which is nice because it's not just a lot of people will just say, "Yeah, here's my deck list," and then they don't explain how to play it. But there's a really good in-depth analysis and a summation of how to play the cards, which I thought was really good. So you can head over there to the BlizzPro's Hearthstone website and take a look at that.
Yay! So another thing that you can do if you are artistically inclined, there is a Reaper of Souls fan art contest going on right now that is co-sponsored from Blizzard with DeviantArt. There are 4 days left to enter said contest. All the rules can be found. You can find the article actually under Heroes of the Storm Blizzard site, they have the article there, but if you click on the link to get the rules and everything, it'll send you to the DeviantArt page. There are amazing stuff that they're giving away. So first place, you get to go to Blizzard headquarters, and you get to meet the artists and the developers of Diablo 3. The art that you made, they will actually like make a print out of it and frame it for you and autograph it. So you'll have their signatures.
Very nice.
You get 5,000 cool dollars to spend. Money is always nice. Signed box copy of Diablo 3 Collector's Edition. 8,000 DeviantArt points and a year premium membership to DeviantArt. And second place, you get some stuff. You don't get to go to Blizzard, but you get $3,000. Third place is $1,000. And then there's 22 semifinalists, which all will get the signed box Collector's Edition, as well as 1,000 DeviantArt points. Lots of really cool stuff that they're giving away. This is a really great contest. And I'm really quite happy that they're doing something like this. They just ended their student art contest, which is for college students. And that was pretty awesome. The grand prize was a 3-month mentorship with one of the Blizzard artists, which was like a phone call or email or whatever, as they critique your artwork and help you along. So that was pretty cool. So we've got this art contest, which involves a good chunk of change. So yeah, if you're artistically inclined, get over, check it out, and enter. So what else is going on with D3?
Well, with D3, the game that is all about killing things and collecting loot, what do? You go outside a game and you don't kill stuff and you try to collect loot. Emphasis on the don't kill stuff.
Yes.
Please don't.
You're blowing my mind.
There's a lot of stuff that you can collect for Diablo that is outside of the game. Everything from peripherals like mouses and headsets and mouse pads and that, to books, novels, T-shirts. There's even some beautiful statues and things like that are collectible. And there is a nice little article on Battle.net about this, and
we covered it on BlizzPro too.
Yeah, and on BlizzPro as well. It's huge, the amount of stuff. So they're just saying, while you're waiting for to start collecting stuff in Reaper of Souls, why don't you go collect some stuff RIL? So
definitely very cool.
Yeah.
And Geeky, what do we have on the transmog front?
Yeah, also, if you are bored, you can pick up some transmog. You can spend some time doing that. And Alexandra on blizzpro.com, she has her... I'm not sure how... Is it weekly? I'm not sure how often she puts it out.
Weekly.
Is it a weekly? But it's the Draenei, the Monk, and the Wardrobe articles that she does for transmog. And this in this article that she came out with just a day ago, she talks about how she stumbles upon a pair of leg plates, and they're called the Bogslayer leg plates. And the entire article is how she takes those leg plates and does different outfits with them. So it's really interesting, and it's kind of her journey, unexpected journey, in finding this item when she was actually looking for something else. And so just goes to show you that sometimes you think you're having one adventure, you might wind up having another out of nowhere.
Yes,
so
definitely.
transmog, adventuring, it's all good stuff.
And
good stuff.
Alexandra has been busy looking for hard to find things. Sosa, what is the other article that our wonderful Alexandra did?
The infamous Unborn Valkyr.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun is right.
This is the time lost proto drake of mists with this pet. It is so difficult to find, and people are hunting for it non-stop. And she goes on about how she's hunted for it, and she also shows all of the different spawn locations of this pet. And she even mentions that you have to be careful because there is 2 abilities. It could have one you would prefer, the other one you would not. So you may have to kill a few if you want to get the optimal pet for battling. But if you just want it for the sake of... There's a beautiful picture with all of the different spawn points where you can hunt around and hopefully waste another 6 months of your life trying to find it, just like you did with Time Lost.
Yes. No, but definitely one of the most sought after pets that they have put out there. I want one because it's adorable.
That's reason enough.
They are awfully cute, and I just love the Valkyr models.
Yes.
I loved the Valkyr models when Wrath first came out. So the ability to have like a little cheap version as a pet is adorable.
Well,
I
have
do enough
the
pet battling.
Yep, I've got the pre-split that turns my angel after I'm killed into a Valkyr.
Okay, into the Valkyr, yes.
Yeah, because it's cool looking. So definitely fun
I could
stuff.
make Alexandra cry. I could make her cry if I say something.
Did you get
I run into 3 unborn. No, none of my pets are high enough to capture that thing. I run into it 3 times while leveling alts in Northrend, but I've never had a pet high enough level because you have to have a pet equal to level in order to capture it.
Right.
And I've never been high enough. Like my highest was 12 the first time I saw it, and it's I think at level 25 or something.
Yeah,
something like
it's
that.
Up there. Yeah, it's definitely not a low level.
So I was nowhere near close enough, but I've run into the darn thing 3 times. I just never had the ability to capture it. It's like seeing Time Lost Protodrake's body lying dead on the ground.
That's
but I've
the only way I've ever seen the Time
3
Lost
times.
Yeah.
I've to it.
Yeah, definitely some cool stuff. So that's the Capture Them All article that she puts out, where she features a different pet. And of course, finally, if you're looking for something to do, Final Boss is actually hosting a Warcraft Trivial Pursuit live stream on March 23rd. It's at 1 Pacific, which is 3 Central, 4 Eastern. It's 2 rounds played between 4 teams of 2. They're going to have prizes and everything. And it's on their Final Boss TV live stream on Twitch. It should be good times. They've already got the entrance, but it should be good fun if you want to check out the chat and watch everybody and see how well you might do. Thinking of the answers, just don't type them out. Let the contestants try to answer them. So yeah, definitely cool stuff. Geeky, what do we have going on in Rose Corner this week?
Rose Corner this week is late night with, is it Steed or Stead? I'm not sure. Do you guys know?
I think it's Steed.
I think it's Steed too. I think the E at the end makes it Steed. But yes, he's doing an interview with Late Night with Steed, so you can look forward to that.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
And we did get iTunes review. So that one guy, 456123, gave us a 5-star review. Thank you very much for that. Gave us, said some really nice things to say. Enjoys our show. Did say that he wishes we disagreed with each other a little more. It might be more fun for the discussions. But if we disagree, we certainly say so. We're not afraid to. But thank you for that. And we did get another review. It was a 2-star review. Apparently, they caught a couple of our episodes where we had some technical difficulties. No, that is not the norm, and we do apologize for that.
It's all a work in progress.
Yeah,
all work in progress.
Technology, we're slaves to it, and if it breaks and we don't realize it's broken,
that's why we appreciate those 2-star reviews, because we don't know otherwise.
Yes, we do appreciate that. Now, we're going to try and go through this as quick as possible because we've already gone quite a bit over time here, but we asked the simple question, now actually a couple weeks ago, because we didn't have a show last week due to Mother Nature's wrath. But we asked very simply, do you feel that Blizzard really listens to the player base? Because that's been on a lot of people's minds of saying Blizzard doesn't listen to them, or Blizzard only hears what they want to hear, all sorts of variations on that theme. I think overwhelmingly the responses we actually got were, yes, Blizzard does listen. And we'll get into that in a moment. However, we did get one no. And it wasn't a hate mail. It was actually very well thought out, and it brings up a very good point. And a lot of, I think, the community feels this way, at least from comments that I've seen. So, Gillian on Twitter, who's from the UK, says that he thinks that, if you look at Warcraft, the answer sometimes has to be no. Now, he's been playing since 2005, 2 months after the European launch, until shortly, like a few months ago. He still pops in now and again, but because he's been playing, for pretty much the whole run, he thinks that it would be foolish of myself to claim that Blizzard does everything wrong, because they don't. He says they obviously have done the majority of things right to have an MMO be able to sustain itself at such a high subscriber base for so long. Saying that, though, with some of their decisions in the past, you can't help but think that Blizzard likes to take the easy way out when they can. Now, he cites a few examples, and the first one is the Shaman Paladin debate that happened way back when. Because it used to be Shaman were Horde, Paladin were Alliance. That was it.
Yep.
If you wanted to play Paladin, guess what? You had to play at Alliance too.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. And it wasn't just the classes, but the races and factions felt different. Like, there was a real separation. But with patch 2.0, instead of balancing the classes, they just gave the other one. I mean, they gave both sides, both classes. And there was a lot of debate about that, of, well, why would the Alliance have Shaman? It wasn't as big of a debate. Like, we could easily see a Blood Elf being a Paladin. They tend to be self-righteous on many occasions. Sorry, that was a D&D reference there. But, the Shaman didn't seem to fit as well, at least with the story, with a lot of the Alliance races.
Right.
No one ever talked to Nugoro, did they?
No. But, I mean, the general consensus of the community at the time, though, it seemed a little weird. And he's right about that. Then there was the mage tax. During Burning Crusade, just before the launch of the Burning Crusade, it was deemed by Blizzard that mages were pumping out too much damage. So instead of sorting out the talents, they decided to whack a tax on their big nukes. So every point that was spent reducing the cast time of Fireball or Frostbolt, you would lose 2% off your spell damage, up to a maximum of 10%. And it says, while it doesn't sound like much, it was enough to leave the class lagging behind for much of the expansion. And I do remember having a lot of my mage friends complaining about that, that if you use the talents, when we had the big talent trees, that if you tried to reduce the cast time, that, the penalty was you lose damage. You cast it faster, you don't have as much juice behind it. And I can see definitely how, that does seem lazy on Blizzard's part. Just
right.
A way to, do a quick fix rather than really looking at how to balance it, as far as with other DPS. And then, of course, the dailies. Obviously, initially, the daily hubs were really cool. It was a fresh idea. People were enamored by it. That was what we had, a limit of 25 dailies that we could do a day. So it got to a point where at some point you had to pick and choose what dailies you were going to do. And then, of course, with MOP, they took out that entire cap, so you could do dailies all day if you wanted to. And it's a good way to get, easy gold besides your reputation and everything. The flip side, he says, though, is that it made Blizzard complacent at in-game. Instead of creating those end-level quest chains, like getting your key to Encourage, things like that, they just created daily hubs. It was easy content for them to make and then forget. Create 10 to 15 quests, stick them in a randomizer, produce 5 a day, and you're done. It would take more time to create long quest lines that span the world than would to create daily hubs. But after a while, dailies became stale, and this is exactly what happened, of course, by the end of Cataclysm. We were sick of dailies, the Firelands dailies. Oh my gosh. And then we get into Mist, and there's dailies everywhere. So he says, that's just 3 examples that I can think of off the top of my head. Hope this helped with your discussion. Sincerely, Gillian. He brings up some really good points. And this is stuff that the community did complain about when they made those changes. Now that dailies are going away for Warlords, a lot of people are now saying, how am I going to get money? Like, now they don't want dailies to go away because they're so used to the easy cash.
Right.
After they were complaining, they were bored of dailies.
Yeah.
So,
well,
Geeky,
I just...
Sosa, whoever. Somebody?
Oh, sorry.
Well,
Go ahead,
I
Sosa.
went through it and I was looking at it, and I remember the big Paladin versus Shaman debate,
Yeah.
and the technical reason was that asymmetrical balance would never work. The way they had designed the Shaman and the way they were designing the TBC raids is certain things were necessary. And so that's why they gave the option to both sides, is because people were doing the math and finding out the Shamans actually overpowered the Alliance raid teams because of Bloodlust.
Yep.
Right.
Horde teams that didn't have a Shaman were overpowered by Alliance teams that had a Paladin.
Right.
So they took that out because asymmetrical balance would not work unless they made a Shaman and a Paladin almost identical.
Right.
And people didn't want that. So they brought it in. And they did actually, people argue about it all the time, but they gave the most beautiful explanation for Shamans on the Draenei. Like, they went so in depth with that. They went more in depth with that than they did with the with the Blood Elves and the Paladins.
Right.
And Blood Elves were like, oh, we steal power and we twist it to our ends and make it work.
Lame.
So that's like, okay, yeah. But the Shaman lost their ability to wield that power, and the elements that had been lost to the orcs needed someone, so they reached out to these people and they gave them comfort and they saved them from becoming those decrepit creatures out in the Badlands.
Right.
Right.
So that's why the Draenei that lost the ability to touch the light, the former paladins and stuff like that, no longer turned into lost ones. They became broken.
Right.
So, you know, they made a beautiful story for that. So people who argue that Shaman don't belong in the Alliance side, I'm sorry, no. The next thing, I honestly had never heard of the mage tax.
Me either.
I was in
Me
TBC, none of my mage friends complained about the mage tax. It might have been there, but I never heard about it.
My husband had a
Unfortunately,
mage, and
I can't really comment on that.
It definitely changed the DPS meters.
Mhm.
Because back then, people were, I mean, you think it's bad now with people randomly linking the DPS meters
Yeah.
after every trash pull. Yeah, it was huge back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was considered crippling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, people weren't as keen to have mages. Like in some cases, people would almost rather have like marksmanship hunters than they would a mage.
Yeah.
Because of the
I
tax.
couldn't really comment on that because of that. I really didn't know much about that. But that final one about the dailies, and he's like, oh, it's easier to throw out a daily quest hub, blah, 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 instead of making a world-spanning quest.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
with those world-spanning quests, they have to end somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Or else they turn into a daily. Or they turn into one of those grind quests, similar to what everyone's been complaining about the Legendary, where you're desperately trying to find that thing.
Right.
Honestly, those quests are going to end, and they have to end somewhere short. Because if you have a quest chain that runs on too long, people are going to hate it and they're going to drop it somewhere.
Right.
Mhm.
But a daily, you can do that until you're sick of it. And with Myst, what they did is they brought in the dailies that had that ongoing quest, world-spanning quest, might I add, built into the quest hub. As you gained reputation, you would gain other snippets of a quest.
Oh yeah.
So,
But he did make some good points. I mean, he brought up all the things that people were complaining about,
Right.
and that have been there.
Mhm.
And it is an argument for, you know, not necessarily that Blizzard doesn't really listen, but that they do try to take the easy way out. You know, in some cases, just to try and fix an issue, like do a quick patch. Did you have any other thoughts on this, Geeky, before we move on to the Twitter responses?
I remember when they came out with Paladins for the Horde, and I remember seeing, I think it was in the game promo trailer, whatever, and it was like it showed a Tauren Paladin, and I remember laughing so hard because I was like, "There's no way people are going to accept that in the lore." There's like, "Oh, they're using the sun because the power of the sun is the light," and all this stupid crap.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking this is dumb, and a lot of people thought it was dumb too. at the time, and then people got over the lore because I think one thing that we all can agree on is that the more WoW expansions there are, lore is people kind of don't focus on it as much as like what they like or don't like. It's more like, oh, let's look at the raid encounters and stuff. So that was one thing that when I read that email, I was like, yeah, I remember Torn Paladins. Mage Tax, again, I played all through BC and never played a mage, so I guess I'm in the dark on that. And then dailies, I agree with the dailies comments that he was coming up with. I thought the comments are right on, but I mean he's right about that they like to take the easiest way out. But if you look at it from a business model standpoint, that's what you do.
Right.
You have to cater to millions of people. How can we make changes that will appease the larger group of those mini groups in the shortest amount of time possible? So yeah, I mean they're gonna do that. That's just the business. That's a sign of a good business. So. That's all I got.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you very much for that email. We do appreciate it. Geeky, let us get going on the Twitter comments here.
Yeah, and in the fairness of time, I'm probably going to kind of condense some of these.
Sure.
These all were yes comments to the fact that Blizzard listens. I'll read a couple here. At Mike_Stopcast says, yes, they do. If they didn't, they wouldn't ask us to test/beta, which I agree with. At Morrison Wow says, I feel they do. Even in expansions that weren't so great, they still gave us things we begged for. So, I mean, I thought that was good. I definitely agree with that. At I Am Short, WTF, it's obvious on so many levels that they do listen, and we should thank them more often for it, I think. Smiley face. So there were some other yes comments, but it seemed...
Yeah, DJ Tyrant, Faye Mercurial, Avatar,
Lodor ZJ,
Wow,
so...
Palamanes,
yep.
Corey Wow actually had a slight conversation with me on the on our Twitter account. Basically said, Corey said, question is which part of the player base they listen to. The top tier is definitely a different voice than the overall majority. Very different needs/wants. And my response was, balancing the desires of both can be tricky because there are world first raid teams, and we've definitely seen player reactions to certain changes that people feel cater to those top end raid teams. And Corey's response was exactly, I laugh at the real life analogy of trickle down economics. It doesn't work. Yet player base thinks the same theory works in game. So yeah, definitely some very good responses. We definitely appreciate all those. However, this turned into the loaded question of, I think, at least this quarter. So in the midst of this, CM Netheria responds with, nope, not at all, especially that Netheria person. And it said, we all have our strengths and our responsibilities that we have to take on. We do what we can, though. And of course, I said, thank you, all of you, because there were other people who got in on the conversation as well. And this became a conversation. It actually became a Twitter bomb by the end. How many mentions could we get in one Twitter response? And I just said, thank you all of you. I guess you guys answered my question. Hashtag Blizzard sees all. And Netheria responds with, we know things and stuff too, wink. In through all of this, though, with the conversations flying, the historian at Blizzard Entertainment at Lorology says, don't get me started on that Netheria lady. Then somebody suggested a dance-off between Netheria and Lorology. Netheria said she'd win the dance-off, but not a lore-off. And then even community manager Zarm got mentioned, and he responded with, a shadow is chasing me. And then because of comments about some players mentioning some of the CMs that they felt interact more, Bashiok got involved. And Bashiok responded to a comment about even Bashiok listens with, what's that supposed to mean? And then the comments after that were, who is this Bashiok? Must be new. And someone said, yeah, I think he's new.
It was pretty funny.
So we had like four Blizzard employees got in on this conversation. In the end, some of the responses took 3 or 4 tweets to actually get a full response out because there were so many mentions in one tweet that you could only get in like a word or two. It was hilarious. So yeah, thank you to, of course, the community managers. and the historian at Blizzard, Lorology. Thank you, everybody, for all of that. It was a lot of fun. Definitely fun. Real quick, before we end the show, a lot of you have had some questions about the fact that TwizCast, of course, was announced that it is done. Twiz is not done with BlizzPro, not by a long shot. He's still going to be doing the interviews with all the devs and all the other stuff. He's still, going to be doing some article writing here and there. He still, of course, has the Hearthstone show. The former Hearthstone Happy Hour is going to be Keep Calm and Don't Kick My Robot with the Don't Kick My Robot team, working with Twiz with a deck.
Yep.
And how to play it. He's going to be around. He's going to be doing stuff with BlizzPro. He's just not doing TwizCast right now.
Right.
He made the choice just like Geeky did. Real life.
Yep.
Twiz has a family. He has two wonderful young boys. He wants to see them. And hey, I don't blame him. And Geeky has a bunch of students to teach.
It's true.
It's you got to make a choice. Make a living, have family time, or do a podcast.
Right.
And I think real life wins in those situations. So Twiz is certainly not gone, and Geeky, while he may not be doing stuff with BlizzPro, he will definitely be around on Twitter and talking games and having a good time. So he is not lost to the internet.
No. Has a firm grasp on me. Definitely.
That's true.
Definitely.
Yes.
To add to that real quick,
yes.
On Twitter, at BlizzPro just tweeted a trailer for that new show that is starring Twiz, BP, and Don't Kick My Robot. So if you go to BlizzPro's Twitter, there's a YouTube link there. You can go check out the trailer. I haven't looked at it yet because we're doing this, obviously. Right. But I just did see that tweet, so you can go check that out.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
And I'm sure it'll be on the BlizzPro site, too. Probably.
Yep, I'm sure it will be shortly.
Obviously, if you want to learn more about what's going on in the world of Blizzard, everything we talked about, as well as anything coming up, you can go to blizzpro.com. You can also follow BlizzPro on Twitter, at BlizzPro, as Geeky was just saying. They just threw out a very interesting tweet. And, of course, they have a wonderful list of shows. There is the BlizzPro Weekly. It is the best 15 to 20 minutes you will spend learning about Blizzard news in a rapid-fire fun session. Then, of course, there is the Hearthstone show, Keep Calm and Don't Kick My Robot with Don't Kick My Robot and Twiz. We have The Edge, which is everything you could want to know about a spec and class breakdown. And, of course, there's us, The Spotlight. You can email us at spotlight@blizzpro.com. We're also on Twitter at SpotlightP. There's lots of stuff going on. BlizzPro is growing. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up, so definitely keep tuned. Sosa, what would you like to leave us with this evening?
Well, we may be losing Geeky, guys, but fortunately, Sosa doesn't have a life, so Sosa will be here with you always. You're not getting rid of her. Ever. Ever. Anyway,
No.
always
Cue the
remember,
Twilight
this
music.
Is a game.
Twilight Zone music. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Scared
That's
now.
like the Psycho music.
Yeah, right?
Always remember, guys, this is a game. Have fun, and always remember, Sosa loves you. Yes, even you. Especially you.
Snap.
Yes.
Snap.
Geeky, what would you like to leave us with for the final time?
The final time. First of all, if you haven't seen the new Warlords of Draenor trailer / ad / promo, whatever you want to call it, go to MMO Champion right now. It's on the main page. It features the whole level 90 boost and the male gnome, the new male gnome model. It's really funny. Have you guys seen it? Have you two seen it?
Yeah.
It's really good.
No.
It's really fun. I laughed. And I like the little tribute to Mario at the end when he's like zooming away. It's like this little Mario woohoo kind of thing. So I like that a lot. So go check it out. Also, kind of just to echo off Sosa, this is a game, but try to do something different. I'm still on that kick right now. I'm leveling a dwarf hunter. First dwarf I've ever played in 9 years. I'm on this like new race kick
You
for like the
finally did
last. Yeah, I did, and I really love it. I don't know what it is because I got this great big bushy beard thing. It's real long, and I love it. So
awesome.
So yeah, just try something different. That's always fun. But again, I've had a ton of fun doing this over the last few months, and I will definitely miss the weekly podcasts, but I will try to stop in from time to time. And Maybe when life cools down in the next few months, 6 months or whatever, I can return to BlizzPro and write some more articles. But
That would be awesome.
yeah, it would be fun. So because I do enjoy doing it. So, but I'll still be on Twitter. So please hit me up. Please hit me up.
Definitely. And as for me, Daryl, keep your comments coming. We do this for you. We definitely want to get your thoughts and your opinions out there. Thank you to everybody who, of course, responded to the question of the week, which ended up being the question of 2 weeks, and was probably the most epic yet. So yeah, please, keep those comments coming. If you've got something you want to say, send us an email, drop us a tweet. We'd love to hear from you, and check out stuff on BlizzPro, and we want to hear your comments there too. So thank you, and everybody, you have a wonderful night, and Geeky, we will miss you.
Back at ya. Bye, guys.
Good night, everyone.
The forums.
The streamers.
The blogs.
The gamer.
The tweets.
The streamers.
The role players.
The player.
The forums.
The bad.
The blogs.
The good.
The enthusiast.
The spotlight.
The spotlight.
The spotlight.